Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Thursday, wherever we are around the world. And welcome back to a massive breaking news video for you guys this afternoon, of course, and that is around Alexander Isak. Of course, he has been the big topic of today, and of course, he has handed in a transfer request to Newcastle. That was this morning's news. But again, the entire day has been surrounded with Alexander Isak news in regards to, again, who's potentially going to be involved in the transfer of Alexander Isak this summer, and where Liverpool stand at the moment. But yeah, the big news is that Liverpool are in the race for Alexander Isak, even though we have signed the likes of Hugo Ekitike, and Alexander Isak has handed in his transfer request to Newcastle United as well. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. Can Liverpool pull off Alexander Isak after spending the money on Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz? The answer is yes, Liverpool can do the deal. And whether or not Newcastle soften their approach in terms of, of course it was, not for sale, then it was 150 million. Whether or not they go a bit lower than that, who knows? But definitely Liverpool are in this race to get Alexander Isak. Of course, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. There is a poll in the chat right now. You guys want to answer that for me? It'd be very much appreciated as always. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. We will take take a look at the news and everything surrounding the Alexander Isak saga at the moment. But big up Daryl as well, saying rest in peace Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I just seen that. It's mad, really, isn't it? Cam says Sesko off to Newcastle as well. We'll get into that because it does link in with the Alexander Isak conversation as well. So we will discuss that in due course. But of course, Craig Hope, obviously Newcastle correspondent, did confirm the news this morning that Alexander Isak has told Newcastle he wants to leave. That was rephrased again by Fabrizio Romano, saying that breaking, Alexander Isak has informed Newcastle of his desire to explore a move this summer. Club are aware of players' plans and will not decide how to move, as per Craig Hope's report. Excuse me. Liverpool have already Newcastle have already restarted exploring a move for a top striker in the market, which again we now know is Benjamin Sesko for Newcastle, as Carlos already said in the chat. And just judging from the overall look at it as well, it does look like it will be Benjamin Sesko that Newcastle go for, and then now they might be able to play that 4-4-2 that again Newcastle fans were telling all the Liverpool supporters that again the 4-4-2 is the way they were going to use Ekitike and Isak. Well, Liverpool might end up having that in the next couple of days, of course, to maybe look for as a blueprint for how they were going to play. Of course, maybe Liverpool and Arne Slot may look at it that way as well. But again, there's been multiple reports suggesting that, of course, Isak has had an injury, if you want to believe it. Of course, we now know that's not true. We know, of course, the scans that he did have with that thigh problem, again, reportedly come up clean. And yeah, he's not gone on that age at all with Newcastle, of course. And again, it's huge news. And I think, in my honest opinion, as of things right now, I do think Liverpool are going to go for him. I do think, even though we've signed Hugo Ekitike, I think Liverpool plan on going big yet again and trying to get Alexander Isak. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. But again, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Hang on a minute, chat. Let me quickly reply back to someone. Right, there we go. But yeah, no, I do think Liverpool are planning to go after Alexander Isak. Again, as you mentioned with the Anfield edition, Cristiano Liverpool, Alexander Isak to Liverpool is absolutely on and concrete as well. Yeah, again, we'll get up even more reports from Romano right now, of course, like you said, by here. Understand Alexander Isak remains a target for Liverpool even after the signing of Hugo Ekitike. But depends on Newcastle. If Newcastle open the doors for an exit, Liverpool sell Diaz, they can bid after direct contact made 10 days ago. Isak not in concrete talks with Al Hilal so far, which, look, I honestly think Liverpool are gonna make that bid. As, hang on a minute, there is something just breaking as well. Hang on a minute, chat. I'm gonna have to show you this. that's perfect timing for the stream. It is perfect timing. Hang on a minute, chat. Let me see if I can get this up for you guys. Again, it is Alexander Isak related. Hang on a minute. Let me quickly. Where are they? So obviously pick up the guys from Anfield sector as well. Now, 4 minutes ago, breaking news. This is major breaking news. As you guys can see below from Anfield sector, major breaking. Liverpool poised to make a record bid for Isak and are readying for a formal approach. Once that happens, Newcastle have the decision to make. So, Liverpool are definitely going in for Alexander Isak. Once again, that's coming from Craig Hope, who originally broke the story this morning. Because again, I believe he's just put an article piece out as well, suggesting the replacements. And again, I think Benjamin Sesko is the guy for that as well. Which, look, I think it's been. We've all said, haven't we, that again Newcastle will probably do that type of deal where they go after Sesko. Of course, they went after Ekitike. Liverpool wanted him, but the fact that Liverpool could end up getting Isak and Ekitike, wow, it shows a real intent of a real intention for this season. Liverpool trying to retain the Premier League. But it's absolutely unbelievable. Hello, Luke. Better take that trip to Wales soon. Yeah, I think you had, mate. I really think you do. You should. Liverpool ready to make a formal approach. Just come in from Craig. Thank you, Luke, for that. But this transfer window is like when Guardiola spent more than 300 mil for City at the beginning of his reign. Well, that's the thing. Arne Slot now gets to have his, have his pick of the field. Really, he's got his 10. He's got his two strikers in Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike. Now, the one thing I will say to this as well, I do think Liverpool would have only got one. Obviously, if sadly Diogo was still here, I think we would have. I think we would have gone for one of Isak or Ekitike. But the fact now that Liverpool could get both, and they're going to be our strikers, I think with the left wing, Cody Gakpo is our left wing. Maybe we might be happy with Rio in that role as a backup. I think it's a bit too much pressure for him. But again, who knows? Liverpool might take a look at somebody like a Malik Fofana. I think Malik Fofana, my honest opinion, I do think it's a real option. I really, really do, especially if we lose Harvey Elliott. You've then got that. Say, for example, Liverpool get Isak. Our forward line then is Mo Salah, Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, Cody Gakpo, Malik Fofana. And then you have the options then of you could play Dom Szoboszlai on the left. You could play Jeremy Frimpong right wing if you wanted as well. There's so many different variations that Liverpool could do next season. And even when Mo Salah has gone to AFCON, Liverpool could literally go 4-4-2 with what Newcastle said that, look, that's the way they're going to play Isak and Ekitike. Liverpool could implement that. Liverpool, when Mo Salah's gone to AFCON, they could legitimately play Frimpong right mid, Gakpo left mid, the midfield of Gravenberch, McAllister, or even McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, wherever you want to play, and then the two up top of Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike. Like, Liverpool are set for the season, no matter what. And look, it's exciting, isn't it, chat? And that's the thing. Liverpool, this is probably going to be the best summer ever for Liverpool in terms of bringing in players. And that, for me, as someone that, again, loves transfers, of course, it's very greedy the way Liverpool are doing things at the minute. But again, we love that. The fact that Liverpool are meaning what they're saying at the minute. Billy Hogan coming out and saying Liverpool are the best club in the world. We want to be the top club in Europe. Again, I absolutely love that. I really, really do. But what else do we have? Sesko and Calvert-Lewin, my word as well. But perfect strike partnership. What do you mean, Luke? As well. But yeah, sad news, by the way. I know it's away from football, but rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Racist motherfucker. Apologies, but he is. But no, it is sad news, to be fair, and news I didn't really expect. I don't think anyone did, to be fair. Again, when I saw it pop up, I was like, wow, it's real surprising. Anyway, but of course, you guys for tuning in right now, it looks like, again, Benjamin Sesko is the guy for Newcastle. Again, David Ornstein reporting this, as you guys can hopefully see on screen right now as well, as it does say. But there, Newcastle United exploring a move for Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig. In case Alexander Isak leaves, the 22-year-old Leipzig forward, subject to a long-standing Newcastle interest, plus a top target should Isak depart. Deal challenging from a financial perspective. Now, there was a report that came out from, I believe it was Fabrizio Romano, claiming that Benjamin Sesko does have a gentleman's agreement with RB Leipzig, that he can go, I think it's for 60 million euros. But then the add-ons, then I think it's 60 million euros plus 10 million plus 5. So I think it's 10 million in easy add-ons, 10, obviously the 5 million in hard add-ons, which again, I think would end up being like win the Premier League, win the Champions League, all this stuff. Whether or not that's the player they go for. Of course, we know Newcastle want Visa as well from Brentford. Again, Calvert-Lewin being linked to Newcastle as well. Look, don't get me wrong. If I was a Newcastle supporter and I was a Geordie right now, I would be frustrated with this whole situation. But let's not get this twisted either. Liverpool made the ultimatum. Liverpool said it plain as day. You can take the money for Alexander Isak and go after Hugo Ekitike if you want. But look, we could end up taking both. But that's the thing. Newcastle could take this Isak money now and redevelop it over the next 5 to 10 years. They could easily do that. Look at what Liverpool did. Liverpool waited 6 months. Okay, we waited 6 months, probably too late for try and convince Coutinho that he was going to stay. But at the end of the day, Liverpool got the money for Phil Coutinho, stretched it over 10 years. No, I'm joking, but guys know what I mean. We then spent it on Virgil van Dijk. We spent it on Alisson, and went on to win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Newcastle could do something very similar. They could end up going on to, potentially bid for players that they wouldn't normally bid for, where they'd end up, look, at the minute, Benjamin Sesko, Visa. Again, they could end up looking at, Scalvini, for example. They could actually go and cement him and get him in the door. But this whole thing of, no, we don't want to sell our best player. That's respectful. But at the end of the day, Newcastle, you either get 130 million now, or you get under 100 million next season. And look, they may look at it and go, oh, well, we could end up having a year of Isak that will improve us, keep us in the Champions League places, and could end up helping us long term. And that's 100% could happen. But now, like we've said, Alexander Isak has made the ultimatum of going, I want to leave. I want to be playing at a top elite level. And again, even though Newcastle have done tremendously well over the last couple of seasons, again, I want to be fighting for a Premier League. I want to be fighting for a Champions League. I want to be on that level of the top players in Europe. And again, I want to be rewarded for being one of the best players in the world. Because let's not get this twisted. Last season, he was the best player, the best striker, in the Premier League, if not Europe, for a big period of the season. And I think that, for me, is what Alexander Isak wants. He wants to be a part of a team that can compete at a high level and go on, all right, Newcastle won the League Cup, but is it realistic that Newcastle couldn't go on and win a Premier League at the moment or go on and win a Champions League? No, it's not. Is it out of the realms of possibility in the future? No, it's not, because again, they've got the richest owners in the world. Once they can sell, of course they can buy and then sell around. Again, I think Newcastle will be up there in the next couple of years. But as of things right now, I don't think Newcastle are. Again, they're not better than us. They're not better than Arsenal. They're not better than City. Chelsea, they're probably not better at the moment either. But yeah, I think Newcastle for sure could use this money to reinvest into their team. And in the next couple of years, they could be challenging. But again, it depends on their spending, because even though, again, I know Newcastle fans turn around and say, oh, we've not really spent anything on any players for the last like 3 summers. But then when you're spending 55 million on Anthony Elanga, again, could there have been an option where you could have had somebody better for cheaper? Possibly. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on it, of course. But just to quickly go back on to what's already been said, obviously Fabrizio Romano talking about Liverpool having to potentially sell Luis Diaz as well to fund Alexander Isak. Now, what he came out and said was this, in terms of Bayern Munich's new proposal for Luis Diaz is set to be set soon. As planned since last weekend, Liverpool are aware of the player's desire to leave the club, and talks will continue to discuss details of the financial package with Bayern Munich. Of course, there's reports that the bid from Bayern Munich is expected in the next 24 hours as well, which, again, it all links up, doesn't it? You know, Liverpool selling Luis Diaz and then possibly then allowing Diaz to go for, let's say, £70 million, and then use that 70 million then to go forward and buy Alexander Isak. That could very well be a possibility. But of course, if Newcastle just switch everything and go, no, we don't want to sell at all, again, when you look at that type of things, I look at it and go, if they were to say no to Liverpool bidding, let's say 120, 130 million pounds, again, I think Newcastle are pretty stupid in that regard. Really, I think Liverpool bidding that much, I think Newcastle should bite their hand for it, really. And of course, Liverpool want the player, absolutely. But again, the price point, I think Newcastle say yes. I really do. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. But hi, this transfer window is mad. Yes, it is, Hero. It's probably the most chaotic transfer window we've ever had, I would say, possibly. Like, again, like thinking about it, like what the summer of 2018 was pretty mental in some aspect, because again, we got Fabinho, we got Ali, we got Naby in as well, Shaqiri, because again, Shaqiri we had to wait 2 months for before we ended up getting him, because obviously there was a European Championship at that time as well. No, was it a champion? No, it was a World Cup, sorry. Obviously in the summer of 2018. So obviously we had to vary, didn't we? So yeah, it possibly is the maddest transfer window Liverpool's history for sure. But this last month has really been a sign of the times as well. Yeah, like obviously in some ways yes, in some ways no. Of course, like again, I think obviously we do get a bit carried away with transfers, and rightfully so. It's exciting, but of course it's still one of these months where, again, you look at, you know, the Diogo Jota situation, you go, it's a bit sad. It is extremely sad with that aspect of things, because again, I would have loved to have seen Diogo Jota in this Liverpool team, and I think with him in this team, it would have been brilliant, especially now knowing, of course, his injury problem with his lung. Again, if he had fixed that for next season, again, it would have been exciting as well. But yeah, I get what you mean. But it's tale of two halves, isn't it? Respectfully, nearly but not quite. The outgoings is going to be fascinating. Well, I think you look at Darwin Núñez. I think Núñez, Luis Diaz as well. They're the big two. I think if we're talking about price point, because at the minute, you know, let's say Liverpool don't sell it Darwin at the moment, and we do go on to buy Alexander Isak. We've then got Isak, Ekitike, and Darwin Núñez at striker. And at the moment, you know, all right, we're all saying Darwin Núñez is going to leave, but who's he going to go to? I did think Napoli would have gone in for him again, but again, supposedly that's not true. And we know that Saudis are interested. We know that, of course, the Saudi Pro League wanted Victor Osimhen. Of course, he's going to go to Galatasaray if that deal's not already confirmed already. Of course, the Saudi Pro League, we know Darwin doesn't necessarily want to go to Saudi, possibly. Of course, he wants to stay more in Europe. But again, if there's no other option, then I think he will possibly move to Saudi. But then look at John Duran. John Duran, obviously he's played everywhere at the moment. John Duran, he's gone to MLS. He's played in the Premier League. He's gone out to Saudi, and now he's playing in Turkey. So it is possible that in a year's time, if Darwin was to make the move, he could come back to Europe. Because again, unlike what it would be like for somebody like Liverpool or somebody like Newcastle, if they were to sign Darwin Núñez and it doesn't really work out, again, it's not really great. But for the Saudi Pro Leagues, it's not so bad for them because, of course, the money situation. But Darwin might just be our winger. With Gakpo, I don't think so. Again, Darwin's not a winger. He can obviously play out there, but he's definitely not a winger. He has the pace, but yeah, when we talk about a tricky, skillful winger, like I think what Liverpool have at the moment, in terms of Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, I think, yeah, Darwin's not that category at the moment. But again, I think it will be interesting though with Isak and what happens with this deal in terms of getting Isak done. What happens left wing? Because I think all of us have been really very much expected that Liverpool would go after Rodrigo, and I think for the biggest time, I think everyone thought Liverpool would go after Rodrigo. I personally thought Liverpool would go after Rodrigo. I thought, with all the news coming out from Spain that Liverpool were very much interested in him, and bits and bobs coming out as well from different reporters, then I did generally thought like, oh, maybe Liverpool might go after Rodrigo, and then we'd have Ekitike up top. Maybe we buy backup striker. You got Rodrigo and Gakpo on the left, Salah on the right. Again, we could have done that, but now it looks like our attention is fully towards Alexander Isak. So I don't know. I do think it is interesting though. I think for AFCON as well, especially when Liverpool are going to be without Mo, you do have the option to go on and try and do something else as well. Just trying to quickly get up the article from Craig Hope as well at the moment, chat. If it's available, I don't think it is. But Hero says his haircut means business this year, though. It does. But yeah, look, I love Darwin, but Darwin's just, yeah, his head's out of Liverpool. That's not lie about it. Even though he's done really well in pre-season so far, obviously against Preston, the game against Stoke, obviously the hat-trick. But yeah, I look at it and go, his head at the end of last season very much indicated what Liverpool fans really thought in terms of, yeah, his mind was away from Liverpool. It was never a part of it, really, in my honest opinion. I think Liverpool knew this as well. But look, I honestly do think Liverpool know that Darwin Núñez will leave. Let's be honest. What's your best 11 next season? Well, at the minute, I'd probably go, Alisson in goal, Frimpong or Bradley, one or the other. I think both are equally as good. Kanate, Van Dijk, Kirkes, Gravenberch, McAllister, Florian Wirtz, and then the front three is Ekitike, Salah, and Gakpo. Now, if we sign Isak, even though I do love the signing of Ekitike, you put Isak in. Do you put Ekitike on the left? Even though he can play there, again, I don't see him as a wide player, really. But yeah, and it's the thing, right? People will go, why are Liverpool signing Isak if we've already got Ekitike? I think that's a great question in terms of why. I think when you look at last season, a lot of minutes were spread between Darwin, Luis Diaz, and Diogo Jota in that role. I do think Diogo Jota would have been a big part of this season. Absolutely. I know some people still go, maybe he might have been sold. Who knows? We'll never know. I don't think so. I think Diogo would have been a big part of the season. But like I just said, I think Liverpool would have only bought one. I think because we've got a gap there, I think having Isak and Ekitike. Now, don't get me wrong, Isak will pick up injuries. He will. Yeah, and even though we don't want to really talk about it because, again, the price tag is going to be around £130 million. But look, Isak will get injuries throughout the season. He will. He's missed a few little patches for Newcastle now and again. But that's why it's perfect to have Ekitike in as well, who can still progress and still learn at the moment, for Liverpool. And for me, again, to basically, let's start Alexander Isak, for example, take Isak off with half an hour to go and bring on Hugo Ekitike, somebody who can do the same sort of thing but offer you some threat as well. Again, it's perfect for Liverpool. It's absolutely perfect. And again, if Liverpool are going to compete on all levels next season, we're going to be playing 60, 65 games next season, probably pushing 70 games next season for sure. Now, with that being said, can Isak do that throughout? Can Isak do all of that in a season? No, he can't. Of course, minutes will be spread out. So having the likes of Isak and Ekitike is perfect for Liverpool. It is truly perfect. And the fact that, yes, Isak is the elite striker, but let's say, for example, you've got, let's say Liverpool got a Champions League semi-final next season against Barcelona. And then we've got an important league game on the weekend as well that we need to win to obviously, let's say, win the Premier League. You could start Ekitike in the Premier League and then start Isak then midweek. Example, there's no rush for that. Look at Man City. Man City for years had options all the time. They would, again, somebody mentioned earlier on in terms of, I think it was it Cal? Cal, did you mention that it's like Manchester City? Yeah, you did. Like Manchester City when Pep first became their manager, you'd never know who Manchester City would start in their lineup because all the time they were so unpredictable. Again, 1 week it would be Sterling, it would be Sane, again, Mahrez as well, when Mahrez was there. Again, even the striker position, sometimes they'd even play Phil Foden as false nine and have Aguero then play other games. And again, Manchester City have so many options in that area. It was super unpredictable what Manchester City would do. So for Liverpool now to do that, now you've got, if we have to sign Isak, you've got Isak, Ekitike, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, Dom Szoboszlai, McAllister. There's so many different variations that Liverpool can play in formation and in systems that, again, teams won't know what we're going to do. By the way, I don't think we're going to know what we're going to do with all the signings, but no, you guys know what I mean. So Liverpool will be a massive threat next season and an unpredictable threat, I think, as well, in my honest opinion. But pick up Martin as well, saying, I now believe this happens. I do as well. One thing I will say as well, I do owe Ricky an apology because, look, at the moment, he was right. It's comedy fitting all this in. I predict us using all 5 subs at every game, possibly. That's if the rule of subs is still the same. Yeah, no, it is still the same at the moment. But hang on a minute, chat. Is there more news on Isak? Because my phone's just pinged. So this is coming from Sky Sports. So it does kind of say Liverpool have made approach last week suggest that they were willing to pay what Newcastle were looking for. Admiration doesn't suddenly disappear despite the signing of Hugo Ekitike. Liverpool can afford to do it because they are very, very sensible and sustainably run by FSG and have been for a number of years. An independent football finance expert said to me today that Liverpool can spend £400 million. Know exactly they can spend £500 million in the transfer window and still be PSR complacent because they are so well run. So Liverpool can spend £500 million, and that's coming from I believe it's Mark McCadden from Sky Sports claiming that Liverpool can spend £500 million and still be PSR complacent. So Like, yeah, it definitely looks like Liverpool over the next 24 hours could end up bidding for Alexander Isak, and it's going to be exciting for sure. Again, keep watch out for Liverpool going on to make even more signings this summer. Cal says, I remember when we would sign 2 more forwards after Ekatike. Who's the other one? Malik Fofana. That's my prediction. I think Liverpool get Isak, and I think towards the end of the window, Liverpool will get Malik Fofana to fill in that space. Because on paper, on data as well, when you look at Luis Diaz and Malik Fofana, they are quite similar. So if you want that tricky winger who can play on both flanks as well, that offers Liverpool versatility, again, can be an option to replace Chiesa as well if Chiesa does end up leaving. But yeah, I think Malik Fofana from Lyon. I know Lyon are asking, I think, 50 million euros. Again, Liverpool are not doing that. I don't think. I think, again, 35 million euros. I think that gets him out of Lyon. In my honest thoughts on that anyway. Probably the most anticipated season I've ever thought about. The access to media and every bit of news is consuming as well. Yeah, no, it is. It absolutely is. Imagine doing content here around it where you're constantly looking at everything Liverpool does. Yeah, it's quite funny how, because again, my phone will ping off, like, with certain things, my phone will ping off at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'm already awake at that time anyway, but literally I'd be like, oh, I think somebody's messaged me. Nope, it's stuff about Liverpool. But yeah, Big Up Gary says, who's coming in? Centre back Mark Gahey, I think. But again, who knows? I think it'll be Mark Gahey. Thank you, Phil Coutinho. Jesus Christ. Kept you busy this summer. A little bit. Again, I love it, though. I love doing the shows. I love talking to you guys about transfers. Because, again, when the football does start, again, it's great to talk about actual football. But, yeah, obviously things do slow down a little bit, which is natural throughout the season. Why did FSG not give Klopp these funds even at a start of a reign? I don't think it's don't think it's because it was Jurgen. I think it was the fact that now Michael Edwards is the head of football relations with FSG. So Michael Edwards has the say. Of course, he has to go towards FSG and make a pitch probably for what Liverpool want to do. But again, FSG trusts Michael Edwards with money, and Liverpool could spend this money and stretch it over a period of time. I'm going to say this now, and again, I hope this does get clipped up for next season. Liverpool will do all the business now. Next summer, Liverpool will make one signing. Next summer. Again, if Liverpool have to sign a centre half or have to sign, let's say, a midfielder, for example, Liverpool will only spend spend money on one player next season. It won't be, again, this summer where we're spending X amount of money. Liverpool will just make 1 or 2 signings maximum next season, and then we'll go big in 2027 or the summer of 2027. That's my opinion. I think Liverpool go big this summer. We don't do anything next season, or maybe even the next 2 seasons we don't do as big. But then I think in 2027, or 2026, sorry, or 2027, Liverpool will go big again. But yes, Cal said there 2 centre backs and DM, VVD replacement, Destroyer and Gahey. I don't think do you mean that for this summer? Again, I think Gahey this summer, yes. VVD replacement, possibly in the next couple of years, but I do think, again, Van Dijk signs another contract at the club. I do. Haters forget that Konza and Kelleher Trent sales will all go towards Isak fee as well. Well, that's the thing. Liverpool, it's like, again, Liverpool is spending money now, but Liverpool have players to sell. Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Harvey Elliott, Federico Chiesa, Tyler Morton, Kostas Tsimikas as well. So again, Liverpool are looking at about, what, 200 million in sales, possibly by the end of the window, including Kelleher, Konza. Like, you're probably looking at around, what, 250, probably a bit higher than that, I would say, in terms of sales. So again, Liverpool will, again, can reinvest in the team through sales. Because again, we've spent the big money on Wirtz and so on. But with Alexander Isak, we know for a fact that Liverpool can sell Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, and that pretty much pays Alexander Isak. As simple as that. It's not like us making shit up, really. You know, it's true. The fact that Liverpool can sell them too, and it comes up with the Isak money for sure. But yeah, absolutely. Used by Liverpool, it's going to get Messi for rivals like ice caps. Well, yeah. What else do we have? The next 2 summers as well. Yeah, absolutely. We also got money for Nat Phillips. What an unbelievable goat Nat Phillips says. Yeah, no, we did. To be fair, we got what, 3 million for him in the end, which realistically he should have gone for a couple of years ago. That's not a lie about it. He should have had his Liverpool career come to an end a lot sooner for his sake, because again, he didn't play many games after that 21-22 season, did he? Oh no, 2020. What am I about? The 2021 season. Apologies. That was about 40 million altogether in sales. Yeah, exactly. You look at Kelleher. Kelleher was what, 18 million. The Konza about 35, around that. So yeah, it's about that, to be fair. Alisson last year as well. Possibly. I think this year will be interesting. I do think Ali will go back to Brazil. I don't think he plays in Europe after his time's over at Liverpool. I do think he is going to stay, though. I think he will sign a new contract with the club. I think Liverpool will give him a couple of years more. I think maybe a 2 or 3 year contract, similar like Van Dijk and Mo, for example. I think Ali then after that will go back to Brazil and end his career in Brazil. I do think that's the way he wants to go. But again, we'll have to wait and see. LFC are running wild. Yeah, no, they are. Absolutely. And look, long may it continue as well. But obviously, the big thing is that Liverpool, it looks like, according to Craig Hope, are going to send another bid in, or going to definitely send a bid in for Alexander Isak. Because again, Craig Hope now saying that Isak and his camp do not want to commit to Newcastle with Liverpool interest their priority at the moment, and that's come from Craig Hope again. So yeah, it's definitely a very interesting way for Liverpool to kick the door down this season with having Wirtz, Salah, Ekitike, Isak, Gakpo. It's very exciting. It's very, very exciting anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. And again, it's I'm really looking forward to seeing Isak in a Liverpool shirt next season for sure. What else we got? 130 mil, says Cal. Pick up Kenny as well. Say there's no loyalty in football. Isak can jog on now. He's not going to a great club. He's not going to a great club. It's just a pity he did mention this about a month ago. He has basically shit on Newcastle as well. Well, I disagree with that. In terms of a big club, he's going to the greatest club of all time in Liverpool Football Club. But I'm guessing Kenny, you're a Newcastle fan as well. Look, don't get me wrong. I think Newcastle should reinvest in the money. Again, you can bring in Sesko, you can bring in Visa, you can bring in Scalvini. I don't know what else Newcastle are interested in at the moment. But look, at the moment, I think Newcastle, again, need to take it to reinvest. But still, I do think some Geordies are a bit like mad with it. Like, oh, we don't need to sell. It's like, no, like if you want to reinvest, you have to do it. And then they're like, oh, well, PSR is the most rubbish thing going. And I'm like, well, spend your money right. You know, it's not. This is the thing with with Newcastle and Villa fans as well have kind of done this, when they're like, oh well, Liverpool have not, or not Liverpool, sorry. Liverpool can spend wherever, Man United can spend wherever, but Newcastle and Villa, they could spend what Liverpool and others do, but they have to do it right, because they've not sold many good players, in my opinion, anyway. But go into a great club. I apologize. See, my eyes just blurred into one. Kenny, I do apologize. As you said there, I say he's going to a great club. See, in my eyes, it said not a great club. But yeah, I do apologize, my friend. But yeah, no, Callum, you are right. Sunderland fans have more brains. You are true. King Kenny as well, says Martin anyway. But look, we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys, because there is nothing else to discuss in terms of the Isak stuff, as far as I know of. Hang on a minute. Because I'm clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, no, there's nothing more at the moment. Craig Hope, at the moment, is the only guy really bringing any news out. I don't think there is anything else as of right now, as I'm trying to look. But yeah, no, there's nothing new. Of course, we'll be back live tonight, because I want to talk about, of course, we'll talk more about Alexander Isak, because I think we are going to have more news at some point tonight. I also want to talk about Ibu Konate as well, because we had the news last night that Liverpool have put a contract offer in for Ibu Konate, as I'm banging my phone on the desk. We know that's true. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about Diaz as well. So again, we'll be back probably about 8-9 p.m. So make sure you are staying tuned to the channel anyway for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys a bit later on for another episode. But I've been Connor from the Cup Council. We'll see you guys a bit later on. Ta-ra.